G'day, I'm Mark from Self Sufficient Me, and in this video I'm going to draw you in and spurt out the main reasons why I love to water my food garden by hand. And at the same time, I'm going to give you my review on the retractable hose reel that I use to get the job done. Let's get into it. When you look closely around our garden, you'll see old relics and signs of our watering system. And whilst I know that automated watering systems play an important role in lots of circumstances, I would argue that for the backyard gardener, these types of systems can be more hassle than they're worth. 99% of the time I water our large garden by hand, and you might say, well, how do you find the time to do that? Well, I make the time and I have my reasons. So what are my reasons for watering our garden by hand? Number one, inspection. As I'm watering, I like to go along and just check the plants as I go. Check for any pests, diseases, pull small weeds as I go along before the weeds get a chance to get bigger and take root. Train plants, up trellises, just those little jobs that can save a lot of time in the long run by doing it as I go along watering. Reason two, targeting. Our orchard is a good example because there are lots of plants that need different types of water at different times. You might have a young tree that needs to be watered quite a lot more than an established tree, like these mangoes that have got plenty of water, and if you keep watering and putting too much on them, you could end up damaging the plant, waterlogging them, and then they won't perform and they won't give you fruit. So watering indiscriminately with a sprinkling system that comes on automated isn't often the best thing to do, but watering by hand is, because you can target the plants. And if you can see that a plant needs a bit of extra water, you can water that, and then the plant next to it, if it doesn't, and it's a different type of crop or whatever, or a different type of plant that needs less water or doesn't tolerate a lot of water, well then you can leave that one alone and go on to the next garden bed. Busted off. Number three, maintenance. You know, an automated system like this is great when it's working properly, but over the years I've spent hours trying to fix up broken hoses and burst lines and clogged up risers. It's just not worth it. Watering by hand is so much less maintenance. And number four, relaxation. Hand watering around the garden is meditation for me. It helps me to relax, gives me some exercise strolling around, gives me time to think about videos that I could be doing, and just in general taking some time out. And I think we all need that. I would encourage you, if you're into gardening, to take up the walking around and watering by hand, because it might sound a little bit trivial, but once you get into it, you'll understand exactly what I mean. And real avid gardeners know this. Walking around with your spray gun is really therapeutic, I guarantee it. Those were my reasons for hand watering. Now I'd like to move on and share with you my review on the fittings and also the reels that I've been trialing over the past 5 months. You might recall my retractable hose installation video that I did in August this year. You know, the one where I lost a good old mate, Pinchy. We've done a lot together. Many years, Posty and I, post Holly, post Pinchy, and I have dug many, many holes. And now it's all over. I'll have to replace him. Sorry, mate. You're off to the tip. Anyway, this hose reel here was gifted to me by Hoselink themselves under the proviso that I do a review on it, which is pretty ballsy in itself, because obviously they don't want to be handing out products that they get smashed for, so they're pretty confident that I was going to like it. And the agreement that I agreed to was that I should be able to be honest with this review, and that's what I'm doing. So they gave me this one, and since then I've also installed another one out the backyard that I purchased myself. This one out the front here is 30 meters long, and it does the job. It waters everything we want to out in the front yard here, especially our new food forest where we're just started off primarily growing native plants for bush tucker. And this one out the back here needed slightly more length to water our ever expanding backyard food garden. So I tacked on about another 15 meters of hose onto the already 30 meters here in this retractable hose reel. Hoselink don't make their retractable reels longer than 30 meters because A, they'd be physically difficult to retract when fully unwound, and B, the unit would get too big. If you could imagine, it'd be the size of a small beetle car hanging off the side of your shed if it was like 60 or 70 meters of hose in there, plus too heavy as well to move around if you needed to. What I've done is modify it slightly to get more length, but also still have a hose that's easy to put away, all neat and tidy, by simply retracting it in and wrapping up the overhang. And that works really well. Obviously, being an avid hand waterer, there hasn't been many days where I haven't used my Hoselink hoses. I've really put them through their paces, and I do feel like I can deliver an informed review / opinion on how well they operate. So I'll break my review up into three main areas: build quality, operation, and value for money. First, to build quality. When you get the unit out of the box, you can see immediately that it's a well-made quality product. It's been put together already, so there's limited assembly required, and it feels strong and sturdy. The fittings are unique by the way they're designed to lock into each other rather than click on, and the way they attach to the hose itself gives maximum strength and long-term leak prevention. The watering accessories are practical and durable. I've used Hoselink's handguns for years now, and I can say they really do last a long time, unlike dozens of cheaper products I've tried in the past that tend to corrode out even just after a few months. Now to operation. Automatic hose reels are notorious for breaking down and turning what should be a really good experience into a nightmare, such as they develop leaks, they jam, they don't pull out correctly, or when you've got them all the way out, they won't rewind back in, or you try to pull it out and you can't get the blooming thing out. I'm sure we've all been there and experienced these issues. But over the last 5 months, I can happily report back that I've had none of these problems whatsoever with these Hoselink units. They really are top quality. I find the pulling out nice and smooth, it locks into place, and a sharp short pull releases the locking mechanism for an easy wind in. The unit comes pre-assembled with end fittings, so it's fast to get connected once fixed into location, and a premium hand spray gun is also included. Speaking of which, I do have the premium unit here, and I mean, it's a good spray gun, don't get me wrong, but there is a bit of a bugbear that I have with it, and I really should mention it, which is the locking down, the trigger locking down mechanism, which is just this catch here, and it's locking down okay at the moment, but it's really easy to knock off. And I know it's nitpicky, but to me that can get a little annoying. And also I've had ones before that have just slipped off really easily, so they really need to fix this up. But they have brought out another handgun, a spray gun, which is this one here, which has a lever. I reckon is much improved, and this is the one that I actually prefer using. And you can just push the lever up, I haven't got it on at the moment, and back, and it operates quite easily, and you don't have to hold the trigger in or there's no latch to hold it on that can get bumped and then it can be released. I know it's a small point, but hey, it's just something I wanted to make people aware of in case you were wondering which I'd prefer out of their two guns. The unit itself is pretty easy to lift off and move to another location. You just have to buy the extra brackets, but you've got a handle there and a handle here, and you can just simply lift it off, which I won't do at the moment. But if you're worried about it getting flogged, you've got a little hole here that you can slide in a lock to prevent that unit from being lifted, because as you could imagine, they're a pretty attractive item to steal from someone's front yard. Which brings me on to my final review point, and that's value for money. Yes, a Hoselink hose like this with a reel is not cheap, but then not many good high quality products are. This package will set you back $229 Australian and hopefully give you years of trouble-free watering, which will save you money in the longer term. I know, because I've already spent heaps in the past on rubbish, cheap fittings and reels, but at least now I've seen the light. So if you are a hand watering tragic like me, check out Hoselink online in the US and Australia, and they'll also sell on Amazon as well, I believe. And that's it. Have you got any other reasons why you like to hand water in the garden, different to mine, which were inspection, targeting, maintenance and relaxing? If so, whack them down in the comments section below, because I'd be really interested to read them. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Bye for now.